Tonight on the MTN News.
I heard 3 shots. Bam, bam, bam.
A close call as 2 more homes are hit by a barrage of bullets on Billings North Side. Also, bear concerns.
You'd see a bear every once in a while, but you see them all the time now.
FWP meeting with Red Lodge residents about a rising number of conflicts involving the animals. And junk and crime, the city's mission to clean up problem properties that sometimes attract violence.
It's just the breeding grounds of criminal activities.
But residents have concerns as well. We hear from one. The MTN News starts right now.
From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Well, good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Russ Riesinger. It's no surprise that bears can be found almost anywhere here in Montana, but a rising number of conflicts between the animals and humans is creating concern. Charlie Kleps joins us from Red Lodge, where incidents involving bears have been on the rise over the past 2 years.
Red Lodge is a community that's known for its wildlife. When you're up here, there's a good chance you'll see deer, bears, elk. It's a part of what makes this place special. But in the past 2 years, FWP says they've seen an uptick in bear conflicts, and that's why they'll be hosting a meeting Saturday to help raise awareness.
My wife said, "I think a bear's in our car." And I said, "No way."
It's a story Mike Pilati will be telling for years to come.
It was a sight I'd never seen or ever want to see again.
In August of 2022, this was Mike, anxiously opening the door of his car where a bear was trapped inside.
And it had chomped and ate the car completely. It was destroyed.
Pilati's car didn't survive the incident. He's since purchased a new one. And while it's a crazy story, it's perhaps not as unusual as you might think. This is yet another bear break-in in Red Lodge this past summer. All signs of a troubling trend.
We had over 100 conflict situations this year between both black and grizzly bears.
Fish, Wildlife, and Parks says bear conflicts have risen sharply throughout south central Montana over the past 2 years, but most have occurred in Carbon County.
Close to 3/4 of those conflicts took place in Carbon County, so that's why, we're really targeting that county.
That's one reason why FWP is holding a community meeting this Saturday aimed at making residents more bear aware.
Well, the 2 biggest points where we were seeing a lot of conflict was improperly stored garbage. And another point of conflict that we were seeing a lot of this year was small livestock.
FWP spokesperson Chrissy Webb says part of the issue is that the bear population is steadily growing in Montana and their territory is expanding. Even grizzlies are now being seen in communities they never used to venture into.
It was never this way when I was growing up here. You'd see a bear every once in a while, but you see them all the time now.
Bears are an important part of us living in the state of Montana, but we want to make sure we can keep our bears wild, but we also want to keep the public safe.
A safety precaution that Pilati says makes sense, speaking from his own experience.
People usually cause half the problems with the bears, so good to educate the people.
In Red Lodge, Charlie Kleps, MTN News.
A mass shooting on the campus of the University of Nevada, Las Vegas has left several people dead. Police responded to reports of an active shooter on campus just before noon today. 3 people were killed, another wounded in that shooting. The suspect, who several media outlets are reporting was a professor in his 60s, was shot and killed by police. The Wrangler National Finals Rodeo announced tonight that it has canceled the first performance. It was set to take place tomorrow in Las Vegas due to the events that happened. Well, it's become a frightening and all too common occurrence here in Billings. Police are investigating 2 more drive-by shootings that happened within a half hour of each other on Billings North Side last night. Now, fortunately, no one was injured this time, but as Alina Howder reports, a lot of nerves are being rattled by recent violence.
It's the same story, just a different block. 2 homes were hit by bullets in drive-by shootings Tuesday night. This one near 10th and 22nd Avenue North was shot 3 times. And sadly, neighbors say they're not surprised.
I heard 3 shots. Bam, bam, bam.
It's a sound that Peggy House recognized instantly.
They weren't really loud, but you could hear them because they were right outside the door.
That house was right across the street, hit by not 1, but 3 bullets.
Your anxiety goes way up. I worry about answering the door at night.
I spoke with the homeowner, a mother with 3 children. She says all of her kids were in the house. Amazingly, no one was hurt. It's a shooting she believes could be gang-related. While she didn't want to speak on camera, She says her son got into a dispute with another teen several months ago and believes this could be retaliation.
I've had the camera up and do all kinds of things over here.
Mike Bloodsoe's lived in the neighborhood for 23 years. He's put up 6 security cameras around his house since crime in the area has gotten so bad.
There's been police chases through my backyard. At 3 o'clock in the morning, I've recovered lost evidence for the police.
It's gotten to the point where Mike now knows the city and county's law enforcement officers by name.
They've been over here collecting video evidence from me before. It's like we're stranded here. We're caught in the crossfire.
Crossfire that doesn't seem to cease, especially since BPD responded to another drive-by shooting a half hour later, just 3 minutes away on North 20th Street. They believe the 2 incidents are related.
I'm closing all my blinds, so yeah, I can't see what's going on out there, but they can't see me in here.
I sunk everything I had into this place. Can't afford to move, so I'm going to stand right here and I'm going to fight.
In Billings, Alina Howder, MTN News.
And tonight we're taking a look at nuisance properties that often serve as a breeding ground for crime. Now one resident is voicing concern over safety and their property values. Andrea Lutz reports on who's responsible for cleaning up these properties. And while it's not usually a fast fix, these flop homes are on the city's radar.
Up on Wicks Lane.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Take a look at that.
Paul Waller is fed up.
Just garbage being thrown on the ground.
For months, he's seen junk pile up on the property next door.
You watch your property values go down, and having to look at all this stuff.
And there are properties just like this all across the city. Police say there's more here than what meets the eye.
There's drug use, there's sometimes violent crime.
Police call them flop houses, homes that can be a hotbed for crime.
While police haven't labeled the property next to Waller as a flop house, they did so with this property after a raid that took 5 hours in early November. It all happened after the killing of a father and his 1-year-old baby. Police ended up pulling 10 different people out of this house, detaining them.
So what is a flop house?
I mean, you do have people that just allow people to stay with them, because they have fallen on hard times or whatever. And maybe they do that frequently, so I guess we would call that a flop house. But the ones that cause us the most concern or the most resources are the ones that then go hand in hand with other activity.
And oftentimes sucking up city resources when police respond.
Well, it's just a breeding grounds of criminal activities.
It's just people utilizing the space.
But here's where the difficulty lies. Police don't have the legal oversight over property owners, making solutions to address crime and junk complex.
I have 3 properties within 100 feet of each other here.
Code Enforcement
This
Officer
one right
Chris
here.
Simpson took me on a tour of some of the over 30 properties listed by the city as decaying structures or nuisance properties. Sometimes his cases are flop houses.
This would be, again, that slang term of a flop house. There was 10 people in and out of this thing on the regular. Obviously, there was some possibly narcotic activity to people with warrants.
This property now boarded up, cleaned up, and sitting on the market.
So now it's safer and cleaner and better for the community, just the way it sits even burned out like this.
But in other cases, people collect too much stuff without the means to clean it up.
It's just junk.
Flop house or not, Code Enforcement acts as the city's legal strong arm to deal with problem properties.
We don't want these type of properties in our town.
As safety remains in focus for residents like Waller. In Billings, Andrea Lutz, MTN News.
And good Wednesday evening, everyone. What a day we had today in Montana and Wyoming. Beautiful sunrises and sunsets. I want to show you one of them was sent in. This from northern Wyoming. You can see Hart Mountain there in the lower right part of your screen. Greg sent this beautiful sunset photo in. We literally had dozens of amazing sunrise and sunset photos sent in already. We love to see what you see when you're at home, so please send those in. You can submit them on our weather app as well. Now today's temperatures were way above average. You can see how warm it was for this time of year. The average low is 21, the average high is 38. Today's high was 61 degrees, bigger than the sum of those 2 average temperatures. Going to let you know the big change is coming in just a few minutes.
Ousted former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy is leaving Congress. The California Republican who lost his speakership in October said he'll resign at the end of the month, explaining in a video on X that now is the time to pursue his new passions. He did not go into detail about his next move. McCarthy's exit further cuts the already narrowing GOP majority in the House following the expulsion of Republican George Santos. His departure is expected to cause a special election in California. If a Montana committee gets its way, voters in the state will have a chance next year to consider a major overhaul of the state's election system. Frank Garner, a former Republican legislator from Kalispell, is one of the board members of Montanans for Election Reform. It's a committee that submitted 2 proposed amendments to the Montana Constitution, changing the requirements for electing members of Congress, governor, state land board officers, and state lawmakers. The first measure Garner and the committee are proposing would create a top 4 primary system.
For those people that believe that choice and competition are a good thing and drive better outcomes, that's a great change. But also it helps that over 40% of people now who don't feel like they necessarily identify with having to have one ballot or the other.
The Second Amendment would require the winner of those elections to get a majority of the vote, not just the most votes. It will take at least 60,000 signatures from voters across the state to get these proposals onto the ballot. Ahead on the MTN News at 10 here on Q2, our Athlete of the Week. Not only a star in 3 sports, but also when it comes to working with special needs kids. But first, a Billings chorus getting into the Christmas spirit and keeping the sounds of barbershop music alive. We'll be right back.